The night of March 25, 2025, Bhiwani, Haryana. A camera on Dinod Road captured a motorbike riding through the darkness. A man sitting in front wearing a helmet. A woman sitting behind him, her face covered. And wedged between the two of them, a large object wrapped in cloth. 2 hours later, that same motorbike came back. But the object wrapped in cloth was gone. 3 days later, police found a decomposed body of a man in a drain along that very road. The identity was confirmed as Praveen Kumar, the man his own family had reported missing. The woman sitting behind him on that bike that night was his own wife, a YouTuber with over 34,000 followers on Instagram. So what happened inside that house on the evening of March 25? And why did that woman take her husband out on a bike late that night, never to return? Praveen Kumar, 35, was an ordinary man in every sense of the word. He worked as a driver and laborer at a sand and gravel yard in Bhiwani. Nothing glamorous, but enough to support his family. Every morning, he'd wake up before sunrise, drive to the yard, and work through until evening. That was the rhythm of life he kept up, day after day, without complaint. Praveen's father Suresh and his younger brother Sandeep lived nearby in the Gujron Ki Dhani area of Bhiwani. To Suresh, Praveen was a devoted son, someone who always stopped by to see his parents after work, even if it was just for a cup of tea and to ask how they were doing. Suresh later told the press that it was these ordinary little moments he remembered most about his son. In 2017, Praveen married Raveena, a girl from Judhi village in Rewari district. The two had a son together, named Mukul, who was 6 at the time. In the early years, their life wasn't wealthy, but it was full enough. Praveen went to work every day, and Raveena stayed home looking after their son. Suresh would drop by now and then to spend time with his grandson. That was all an ordinary family in Haryana ever needed. But things started to change inside that house. Quietly, invisibly, from the outside. And Praveen Kumar never knew that change would end up taking everything he had. To neighbors and her in-laws, Raveena was an ordinary wife and mother, taking care of the family. But alongside that life, she was building a whole different world online under the name Raveena Rao. Her content was mostly comedy videos about family life, but Praveen Kumar was never once in any of them. Her channel had drawn over 34,000 followers on Instagram and more than 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. To her, this was her passion, her career. To Praveen, this was the root of every conflict between them. About 18 months before the crime, Raveena connected with Suresh, a YouTuber from Premnagar village, Hisar, Haryana, through Instagram. The two started making videos together, and that working relationship gradually turned into something far deeper. And as Praveen started to notice, the arguments inside that house grew sharper and sharper. Praveen Kumar kept asking Raveena to end her relationship with Suresh and stop making videos with him. But every time Praveen brought it up, Raveena pushed back, insisting it was just work. Those arguments never really ended and only grew sharper over time. Suresh later shared that his son had once confided in him, saying he felt like he was losing his wife right there inside his own home. Raveena was away from home more and more. Trips out to film videos stretched from a few hours into entire days. And whenever Praveen asked her where she'd been and with whom, the answers were always excuses he had no way of checking. On one occasion, Praveen confronted Suresh directly and told him to stay away from his wife. But Raveena took Suresh's side during that confrontation. A detail Suresh said hurt his son more than anything else. But the worst was still to come for Praveen Kumar. While the arguments carried on inside the house in Gujron Ki Dhani, Raveena was quietly doing something Praveen's family had no idea about. On her personal Instagram account, with over 650 posts and tens of thousands of followers, Raveena had described herself in her bio as single mother. Not after Praveen died, but while her husband was still going to work every day and coming home every evening. She had erased her husband's very existence from her online life long before anything ever happened. To her tens of thousands of followers, not one of them knew that the woman calling herself a single mother was living with a husband whose existence she had chosen not to acknowledge. And the last line in her bio read, "Believe in karma." A line that would come to feel more haunting than ever once you look back at this whole story. According to police statements made later, Raveena and Suresh had discussed and settled on a plan, in private conversations between the two of them. And when Praveen Kumar came home that day, he had no idea what was waiting for him. On March 25, 2025, Praveen Kumar came home and found Raveena and Suresh together in a situation he simply couldn't accept. A huge argument broke out right there in the house. In the next room, their 6-year-old son Mukul was fast asleep. He had no idea that night was the last night his father would ever be in that house. He had no idea that when he woke up the next morning, his world would be changed forever. According to Raveena's statement to police, it was that very night she and Suresh took Praveen Kumar's life together. Praveen Kumar never had a chance to fight back. Sometime between 2 and 2:30 a.m. on March 26, once the whole neighborhood had fallen asleep, the two of them wrapped Praveen's body in cloth, placed it on the motorbike and left Gujron Ki Dhani under the cover of darkness. The bike rode about 6 kilometers along Dinod Road before stopping beside a drainage canal. 2 hours later, Raveena walked back into the house. Their son Mukul was still fast asleep in the next room, with no idea his father would never come home again. The next morning, Raveena woke up and started a new day as if nothing had ever happened. On the morning of March 26, 2025, Raveena woke up and went about her day as usual. She cooked for Mukul, dropped him off at school, and answered calls from her in-laws in the calmest tone she could manage. When the family asked about Praveen, she said he'd gone out early that morning and hadn't come back yet. By the afternoon, still no sign of him. By evening, still no news. Subhash's family began calling Praveen again and again, but nobody picked up. On the morning of March 27, throughout all of this, Raveena carried on with her normal routine, as if nothing was wrong. A calmness that only made her in-laws more uneasy, set against Praveen's mysterious absence. And Praveen's family couldn't wait around any longer. On March 27, 2025, with Praveen still nowhere to be found, Subhash and Sandeep decided to go to Sadar Bhiwani police station and file a missing persons report. Subhash didn't just file a routine report. He told police plainly that he suspected his daughter-in-law was involved in his son's disappearance. He laid out the entire history of conflict within the family, the relationship between Raveena and Suresh, and the times Praveen had complained to him about his wife growing more and more distant. Police recorded his statement and began investigating in the direction Subhash had pointed to. The family also took the initiative themselves, gathering and handing over to police footage captured by cameras along every road surrounding the Gujron Ki Dhani area on the night Praveen went missing. And that's when the true picture began to emerge. While reviewing the footage the family had provided, SHO Narendra and his investigating team spotted a motorbike traveling along Dinod Road at around 2 to 2:30 a.m. on March 26th. A man sitting in front, wearing a helmet. A woman sitting behind him, her face covered, and wedged between the two of them, a large object wrapped in cloth. About 2 hours later, the same bike came back down the same road, but the object was gone. The moment Suresh saw that footage alongside police, he recognized the woman on the back of the bike as Raveena and immediately confirmed it to the investigating team. Based on the direction the bike had traveled in the footage, police launched a search along the entire stretch of Dinod Road. On March 28, 2025, Praveen Kumar's decomposed body was found in a drain, about 6 kilometers from the house, matching exactly the direction the bike had gone that night. Police were now ready to move in. Sadar Bhiwani police brought Raveena in for questioning, once they'd gathered enough initial evidence. Raveena showed up acting like a worried wife searching for her husband. She cooperated, answered every question, and denied any involvement. But once investigators started asking about the night of March 25th, about those hours after midnight, her answers started contradicting each other. After a prolonged round of questioning, Raveena confessed to everything. She confirmed the secret relationship with Suresh, confirmed the argument on the night of March 25th when Praveen caught the two of them together, and confirmed what happened afterwards. Raveena was arrested right after her confession. An FIR was formally registered under the relevant sections of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita for premeditated murder. Suresh had managed to flee before police could get to him. A nationwide alert was issued, and police are actively searching for him across multiple locations. As Raveena was led away in handcuffs, Praveen Kumar's family was left facing a grief no words could ever truly capture. As the truth came to light, Praveen Kumar's family had to face two griefs at once: losing their loved one and realizing that the person behind his death was the very woman the whole family had welcomed into their home back in 2017. Subhash, the father who had gone to the police station to report his son missing, who had handed over the video evidence, who had pointed straight at the screen and recognized his own daughter-in-law, ultimately had to watch his son pulled out of a drain 3 days after he went missing. He knew the truth before police ever confirmed it. And it was the kind of truth no father ever wants to be right about. Mukul, their 6-year-old son, is now living with his grandfather and his uncle Sandeep. He was asleep in the next room the night it happened, with no idea at all. And as he grows older, questions about his father will be a burden no one wants him to carry alone. The case is now awaiting the court's verdict. As of when this video was made, Raveena remains in custody in Bhiwani, awaiting formal trial. The case file is currently being finalized by investigators ahead of moving into prosecution. Suresh is still on the run. Bhiwani police are searching for him nationwide, and this remains the one part of the case that's yet to be closed. Praveen Kumar's family is following every development, hoping that man will soon have to face justice too. Praveen Kumar's case is now awaiting a final verdict from the Bhiwani court. A man came home at exactly the wrong moment and paid for it with his own life. A wife who called herself a single mother on Instagram while her husband was still very much alive. And the entire truth only came to light because of footage captured by a camera on a quiet road at 2 in the morning. Given everything that happened, what sentence do you think Raveena truly deserves? And do you think Suresh will be caught before the trial begins? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Praveen Kumar's story isn't about some distant criminal. This happened right inside an ordinary house in Bhiwani, where a man came home after a tiring day's work and walked straight into something he never saw coming. The most unsettling part isn't the violence itself, it's the cold calculation behind it. Raveena didn't act in a moment of sudden rage. She had erased her husband from her online life long before, calling herself a single mother in front of tens of thousands of people, all while building the image of an independent woman, even as her marriage was heading toward an ending only she knew was coming. The second lesson is about the power of truth. Raveena and Suresh believed the darkness of night would hide everything. But on Dinod Road, at 2 in the morning, a camera captured what no human eye ever saw. In today's world, there's less and less room for crime to hide. And the final lesson comes straight from Raveena's own Instagram bio. Believe in karma. Karma doesn't care whether you're the one who wrote it or the one who believes in it. It comes for everyone, in ways nobody can predict. And for Raveena, it came through footage captured on camera, through the words out of her own mouth, and now through a prison cell door, waiting on the court's verdict. Remember his name, Praveen Kumar, Bhiwani, Haryana, 2025. A husband, a father, a man who came home at exactly the wrong moment and never got the chance to walk back out again.